Hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our entitled parents. In today's episode, we were expecting you to watch our kid. Entitled parents make terrible house guests. 29M finally stood up to my entitled parents and gained my freedom. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. We were expecting you to watch our kid. 3-year-old birthday party held recently. Kid-themed venue, but not the kind of place that has staff or setup for kids to be dropped off. Invited many of the kids from our little one's daycare, so it's a first time meeting most of the parents. The following exchange happens and still bewilders me when I think about it. In walks Entitled Parents, EP, alongside others arriving. Goes like this. EP, where can we put his bag in case you need anything? Me, confused by the question, feel free to keep it at any table you choose to sit. EP, oh, we're just dropping off our little one. We'll be back to pick him up after the party is done, 2 hours. I explain we cannot support watching their child and hosting said party. Nobody can be responsible for doing so. They will need to stay. EP, he is super simple to watch and you won't have a problem at all. Just call us if there is one. Their kid is a 3-year-old as well? Me, that will not be happening. Once again, we are busy hosting and watching our kid. You need to stay with your child. EP, well, I guess he and the gift we brought will not be able to stay because we have shopping to do. Me, thank you for stopping by. They blankly stared at me, shocked their threat did not work. Of course, their kid had a tantrum having to leave so fast, so they stayed for the first half of the party. Still walked out with their gift though. Oh darn, one less random Amazon kid's toy. Who in their right mind thinks it is okay to drop off a 3-year-old with people they have never met before, other than a daycare? This happens more than you think. My youngest is 20 now, but when my kids were young, we all knew which parents were likely to do something like this. Looking past any concerns about the child themselves, just seems wildly disrespectful to the parents/hosts. Good way for your kid to not get invited to events in the future. Feel bad for their kids. We used to put it in the invite if it was or was not a drop-off situation, whether or not siblings were welcome, and that the pick time was not flexible. Unfortunately, it's not a new thing for parents to either drop off their kid and run, be hours late picking the kid up, and trying to drop off siblings as well. My friend invited one little girl to the movies on a Saturday, and the other mom pulled up in the street in front of the house and 6 kids, cousins, got out of the car and ran inside the house expecting her to take them all to the movies. She refused and tried to call the other mom, who refused to answer the phone. She was livid and told everyone what happened, and no one invited that girl to anything after that. That was probably 15 to 20 years ago. That's a call to the authorities. Let's see the mom explain herself out of that one. I love that you called their bluff. I honestly don't remember at what age kids get dropped off for parties, but in no planet is it 3. Entitled parents make terrible house guests. Some friends with kids were visiting recently from another state. When they told me they would be coming through my city, I didn't offer to host them because they don't correct their children. However, when asked, I felt put on the spot and let them stay. Big mistake. I had 2 guest rooms set up, one for parents and one for 2 kids. 2 kids had expensive camping mats, sheets, sleeping bags, comforters, and pillows. Oh, and their own TV. I have a living room with a casual, comfy couch and a sitting room with a formal, white couch. Apparently, their 11-year-old decided to sleep on my white couch. I was already in bed, but 11-year-old, who had been wearing the same clothes for days, had his parents' blessing. When told about it in the morning, I was irritated and expressed that. Next night, I see kiddo heading towards my couch with blankets. I told his mom he needed sheets to sleep on my white couch. Meltdown ensued. Said he was welcome to sleep on comfy could without sheets. He did, after much consoling and coddling from his mom, and blared his tablet until late in the living room, right outside my bedroom. Next morning, they get up at 5 and yell at each other across my house. Don't forget your swimsuit, all while letting the door between my garage and kitchen slam about 20 X's while loading their car. They also ordered food delivery for dinner for just them and didn't even ask if I wanted anything, left my kitchen a hot mess and my guest toilet covered in urine. Never again. And these are your friends? Why? Reevaluating the relationship for sure. Can't imagine reassigning sleeping arrangements in someone else's home without their blessing, let alone their consent. They were never rude before kids, but seem to think that their kids' whims are more important than basic respect. Now you know to say no. That sucks. How can people be so ungrateful and oblivious to common courtesy? I ask this daily, but I just can't wrap my head around it. I would have just told them my house isn't suitable for guests. Sorry, not sorry. Not worth the headaches. 29M. Finally stood up to my entitled parents and gained my freedom. For as long as I can remember, my parents have controlled every aspect of my life. They demanded perfect grades, picked my friends, and decided what hobbies I could pursue. Nothing I did was ever good enough for them. If I got a 95 on a test, they would ask why it wasn't 100. If I made a new friend, they would scrutinize them until they found a reason to disapprove. After I graduated college, I thought things would change. I landed a decent job and moved into my own apartment, hoping to finally gain some independence. But my parents had other plans. They started showing up unannounced, criticizing my choices, and trying to dictate my career path. They even tried to control who I dated, insisting that no one was good enough for their precious child. The breaking point came when I got a promotion at work. I was over the moon, but my parents were not. Instead of congratulating me, they berated me for not consulting them first and told me the new position was a mistake. They insisted that I should quit and find a job they approved of. I was devastated and furious. How could they not see how hard I had worked and how much this meant to me? I realized then that nothing would ever change unless I took a stand. So, I did something I had never done before. I stood up to them. I told them that I was an adult, capable of making my own decisions, and that their constant interference was no longer welcome. They were shocked and angry, accusing me of being ungrateful and disrespectful, but I didn't back down. I told them that if they couldn't respect my boundaries, they were not welcome in my life. It was the hardest conversation I've ever had, but it was also the most liberating. For the first time, I felt like I was in control of my own life. I stopped answering their calls and messages unless they respected my boundaries. It wasn't easy, and I felt guilty at times, but I knew it was necessary for my own well-being. A few months later, my life had transformed. I was excelling at my job, had made new friends who supported me, and was in a healthy, loving relationship. My parents eventually came around, realizing that they had pushed me too far. They apologized and agreed to respect my boundaries, and our relationship improved significantly. Standing up to my entitled parents was the most challenging thing I've ever done, but it was also the best decision I've ever made. It taught me the importance of self-respect and the power of setting boundaries. Now, I'm living a life that I am proud of, free from their constant criticism and control. Congratulations on your promotion and your shiny spine. Congrats. That was one of the hardest things you will ever do. Better, your parents came around and realized that they needed to accept your changes. Huge step forward. Don't look back. You rock, mate. Good work setting the boundaries. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.